This is a conference meeting of the City Council of the City of Orange Township held at the Orange Public Library, 438 Main Street, Orange, New Jersey, on Wednesday, June 4th at 7:03 p.m. Roll call. Councilmember Coley.
Present.
Councilmember Eason.
Here.
Councilmember Hilbert.
Present.
Councilmember Montague III.
Present.
Councilmember Ross.
Present.
Councilmember Summers Johnson on her way. Council President Wooten. Also present is Joyce Lanier, the city clerk. Chris Hartwick is on Zoom, so he's here. LaQuana Best, the deputy business administrator, is here. Derek Brown, fire chief, is here. Now Clements is on video as well.
Present.
Gracia Aramontelis. He over there, okay. Vincent Vidiello. I know I saw you. He's here, okay. And Trisha Scipio. Did I miss anybody?
Did you miss Marlon Towns?
Marlon Towns. He's here, okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It works. Let's have a moment of silence, please. Thank you. Please be apprised, anyone wishing to discuss agenda or general items shall sign their name on the comment sign-up sheet and will be allowed a minimum of 5 minutes to interact with the council. The requirements of NJSA 10:4-9 et Sunshine Law has been met, and notices this meeting was sent to the Star Ledger and the Orange Record script and posted on the bulletin board in City Hall, the council's website, the city's website, involving the office of the city clerk. Council members, are there any matters of discussion? None? We might have a matter of discussion later. The resolutions and ordinance to be presented at tonight's meeting are listed on the attached relevant meeting agenda. If any council members wish to discuss them, they can do so at this time. Council President? Anyone?
Council President? Yes.
Okay.
I would like to address ordinance 32-2025.
What number? What number, Councilwoman?
32.
32.
Okay, so the last meeting, it was also postponed, and we spoke about it briefly, and, we haven't spoken about it since then. My other concern is that permit parking has been on hold for about 2 years. There are other petitions that have been out prior to this one. And I just want to make sure there hasn't been any other legislation or policies put in place that was going to help move this forward. Because the last time we addressed public, parking permits in the residential area, I was told we had to wait for the parking authority.
I will go also, but it still remains on the books, as you well know. There, not my knowledge, has not been any legislation passed since that statement was made, which was not made out here, regarding permit parking. So it's still postponed. We'll set up with the residents on this block. And then also have a meeting with the law department as to what we're gonna do with permit parking regarding, new development in the city. For example, there's, a piece of development in the city, it's on Central Avenue. If you drive by, the parking spaces within the building are empty, so people aren't paying the landlords to park, but they're parking on the street. So we just need to discuss that in time.
So what ward is this meeting located in?
As you know,
I know my streets in the West Ward, but you created a meeting with the residents on the block without including me. And at the last meeting, you said that we were gonna discuss this. And, hold on. And I also mentioned that there were other petitions that came before this council and they were voted down. So why now the interest to support this?
so, Councilwoman Wheelhead, I'm an at-large council person.
Weeks.
You know that, right? So,
That's me.
yeah. I'm a council person, I'm board.
Can't hear you.
So this meeting was set up today. Okay?
It was set up today, but again, regardless of you being at large, we're all elected officials here, and a courtesy is to,
President, if I may.
You may.
So we went from talking about an ordinance that's being postponed to a meeting, so I think that's off topic. So if you have, during your council comments or on the side, we can certainly address that, Councilwoman. But right now, the question pertains to an ordinance on first reading that for the remaining postponed.
well, no,
Any ancillary issue or auxiliary issue could be discussed. Council President, if you have a question.
are you finished? Because I will finish my statement. And my statement is following up with this. There was no communication.
But your
Right.
statement has to do with something.
I'm
that's not
still
pertaining to this
speaking.
ordinance.
I'm still speaking.
No, but you
It is
said-
pertaining, Attorney Montilez, please restrain yourself. I am making a statement.
Right outside of.
And I'm
Point of
making,
order.
it is not. You
Point of
didn't even
order.
allow me to finish my statement. So my
Point of order,
statement,
Councilwoman, let's.
Council
fight.
President,
I have a.
point
Are
of,
we doing?
if we're not gonna have an orderly meeting,
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a motion that we just,
I'm
you know,
I have a final
in this
statement.
meeting,
Yeah.
and we just continue on some other time.
So my final statement in regards to this being postponed, I think we should just vote it down until
Yeah,
what needs
please
to be
leave.
taken care of is taken care of.
Please leave.
You knew that nothing has changed, so there's no point in
Same.
misleading the residents and putting it on the agenda. And that's my thing. I believe that it should be voted down, not postponed, because there has been no change. As the law department, you can support me in that because that's accurate and the facts are there.
That's your opinion. Anyone else?
I know you don't respect my opinion, that's fine.
Move on.
Wait, let's stop right
Yeah.
there. Like, all of this mentoring that you're doing, like, this is a business meeting for the city of Orange Township. It's not a cat fight, and we not gonna have a cat fight. It's not something where you can come and perform, it's not. It's not, and we're not gonna do that this meeting. We're not gonna do what we did last meeting, we're not. So the slick remarks after people speak, we're not.
If we can't run an orderly meeting, I make a motion to adjourn this meeting and we just move on. Because, what happened at the last meeting, it was just completely inappropriate. You know, so, either we're gonna conduct ourselves in an orderly fashion or we not. We just end the meeting and keep on moving. What are we gonna do?
Thank you, Council. Anyone else?
Yes, Council President,
Councilman
29-2025. Now, we have an ordinance that says all apartment buildings have to have one-to-one parking. This particular unit, they have 69 units and 65 parking spaces. How did that get passed? How did that get past the planning board? We have an ordinance, one-to-one parking. This either should be postponed. There's 69 units, 65 spaces.
So, I'm not sure if Chris going to do this or not. Be Mark, Victor.
Sure. Councilman, this was part of the negotiation to have new benefits. It was adopted or introduced at the same time all of the other ordinances were introduced. It would have been on the agenda at the last meeting, but for publication. So, it has not gone before the planning board yet. However, in connection with discussions between the administration and the developer, the developer will lease 10 spaces from the city at the Grand Street Garage for retail parking.
Another question regarding this ordinance. As far as the RAD bond, who's responsible for paying that?
So we specifically downsized these RAD bonds to a small amount so that the city could pay them, but the city also gets to direct what improvements are made in them.
That's not how it used to be, correct?
Well, we've done it differently on different deals. Usually when we're doing a small one like this, we do it as a RAD bond with a geo pledge. There have been other deals where the RAD bond is larger, where we have done it as a traditional RAD bond. So we've done it both ways.
Thank you.
Can I, yeah, thank you. Who repays the, RAD bond, Mr. BA? The city or the developer?
The question was,
Who-
who will repay the RAD bond?
I just,
Maybe I missed it.
this RAD bond, if issued, will be repaid by the city.
And the reason, maybe I missed it, the reason why we're repaying it, because most of the time it's repaid by the developer, correct?
Actually, no, we've negotiated in both ways. We've had several deals like REAC and Highland, all three REACs in Highland, where the RAD bonds were issued and are backed by a geo pledge of the city. And so the city pays those back. But in those instances, the city gets to direct the improvements that are made with those RAD bonds. And in the case of the RAD bond on REAC, we're using proceeds to build that park.
Now, how much is the bond? How much is the bond?
CFO Clement? Attorney Whitey? You know the amount of the bond?
150? And that will go to the payment of the, park?
Are you talking about the RAD bond for this ordinance or the RAD bond that I referenced?
The one for this ordinance?
For this one,
This one?
Yes.
We haven't identified the improvement that would be made with this one. We're trying to do a situation where all of the RAD bond proceeds can be used for one improvement project, probably related to, water.
Thank you.
anyone else?
Council President,
Councilman Gilbert?
through you to the business administrator, let me make sure I get my numbers right. Resolution 286 actually has the wrong contract attached to it. So, speaking in regards to B&O urban renewal, that is 35-2045. So, I'm sorry, DA Hartwright, can you hear me?
Yes, barely.
Okay, I'll try to speak a little louder. So inside this, purchase and sale, I see that the city is selling the property. Is that accurate? Was this property slated to actually be, a redevelopment site for Orange Housing Authority?
Now, this property, which is owned by the city, has, for the last several years, been included as part of the development of the B&O Urban Renewal Project on Bowen and Oakwood Street, over by Oakwood Avenue School. And it was specifically restricted to be used for additional parking.
Okay, so as I read further into it, it does say, that they actually don't own all of the lots yet in order to be designated the redeveloper for all of those properties there. Is that correct?
Are you talking about 35/2025?
Yes.
Yes, I'm still on the B and O urban renewal,
They own all the lots except this one.
the lot 17.
Yeah.
So, I mean, is this common? Because it's like us voting on something that's not actually, set in stone yet. When, are we giving them a time frame to report back to us? If they
Well,
have,
the project has been approved by the planning board. The planning board approval includes this particular lot for additional parking.
Mhm.
In order for them to proceed, oh, and they have their redevelopment agreement and their pilot agreement. And the redevelopment agreement specifically references the future sale of this lot. So in order for them to proceed to full building permits, they have to pay the city and close on the sale of this property so that they own it fully.
full permits. Okay, and just to continue a little bit focused on this property, it did mention about them using spaces, for parking. Has there been talks of a multi-level instead of just one slab of, just one layer, one level of parking?
Parcel isn't big enough to do a multi-level, facility.
Okay.
There wouldn't be room for the ramps, and the ramps would take up too much parking.
Okay. So, Council President, I'm gonna jump to the 286 now, the other property, 286-2025. So, same question, Hickory Street and Faro Street. Is this, also a site that was supposed to have affordable housing? Was that the intentions for this?
Now, this is a long city property that, the city acquired many, many years ago. It's included in the redevelopment area, the Central Arc redevelopment area. This developer approached the city approximately a year and a half ago. And his desire was to purchase the property from the city and to build two-family houses on the property, one of which will be owner occupied. I'm not aware that this property was ever promised to the housing authority or,
Okay. Thank you for your response, BA.
Council President,
So, Councilor Ross, before we go to you, on 35/2025, the records show that we were talking about lot 12, not lot 17.
that's right.
lot 12 is on here.
You see lot 12, the councilwoman, she misspoke, lot 17.
Where do you see that?
35/2025, in the title,
It says lot 11.
block 3203, lot 12, in the title.
No, I'm speaking in regards to the lot that wasn't purchased yet. So just 12.
It's 12,
Okay.
not, Councilor Ross?
Yeah,
Thank you.
on this same resolution, 286. Okay, I'm a little confused because it's talking about TWA Urban Real Properties Development Group. And this is, for 144 Parole Street. I turned to page 3. This says a contract for sale by and between the City of Orange and B&O Urban Renewal, and the property block number is 3203, lot number 12. But on the cover page, it has a different block number and lot number. And it's also talking about 22 Webster Place, and it's talking about a purchase price of $390,000. So I'm a little confused as to what's going on here.
Let me just pull them up because it sounds like.
So, point of order, Council President, it looks like the wrong contract was attached to, resolution 286/2025. That should be it should not really have any backup attached to it because it's just a conditional litigation for the development. There's no contract attached to that because we haven't negotiated a redevelopment agreement or any other agreement. The only contract that we would have, the only relevant contract in that P&O is attaching that ordinance 35.
Okay.
And Councilwoman Gilbert stated that before she began to speak.
Okay, and 35, 2025 and 36, 2025. I spoke to the BA about this earlier today, and I would like to see an appraisal for the sale of this property, because I can't approve this unless I know what this property is worth, okay? We're selling it for X amount of dollars, but where did these figures come from? Okay, I mean, there's no appraisal for what this property is, what is the market rate of this property? Okay, in the resolution, it says it's X amount of dollars, but where did that figure come from without an appraisal?
Okay, so let's start with 35/2025, which is the B&O or municipal property for 22 Webster Place. The property was appraised by various appraisals. The appraisal was received. The appraisal was set at $490,000 based upon it being sold as vacant land able to be developed for 33 units in a mid-rise building. The purchase price was negotiated at $390 based upon the fact that it will be restricted to parking and cannot be developed for 33 units. That changes the value. So we worked off the appraisal of $495 and arrived at a figure of $390 based upon the use of the property that it would be restricted to.
So
I sent a copy of the appraisal, after you and I spoke this afternoon. I sent it to the clerk's office and to all council members.
I didn't receive it, did you?
36/2025, the appraisal came in, also appraised by Hendricks Property Appraisal, and the appraisal came in at 170, and that's what the sale of the property is for.
Okay, going back to 35, you said it was appraised for 495, but we sold it for 390, and that's because we only can and will use that property for parking only.
Correct, it'll be, that lot will be restricted for parking only.
Okay. So if we wanted to build on it, we got a $100, it's less, we're getting $100,000 less because we can't build on it.
That's correct.
Okay. I'm not finished, I'm sorry. I'm looking at 279, the bill list. Okay, and we spoke about this also, but I didn't get anything from you or now, Mr. BA, where he's talking about overtime, $51,000, in overtime from the police department.
Mr. B, I have to request a breakdown. I haven't gotten it because I haven't been in the office to have my weekly meetings with the police. And I didn't get a chance to ask Niall, but I could probably look it up from where he is as to what the year-to-date overtime of the police is.
Okay.
Anyone else? So if you go back to 35/2025, you go to the contract of sale, first page, fifth recital. It should read six sentences down. It should read lot 12 instead of lot 17. And then 4 sentences down, it should read lot 12 instead of lot 17.
point of order, Council President, I'm not sure, I'm looking at this, so it says that lot 17 cannot be acquired on redevelopment of 56 parking spaces now above will be located off site in lot 12 and 16, so it's lot 12 is required. It's just talking about if lot 17 can't be acquired, then certain things are going to go on lot 12.
Council President.
I think that lot 17 is different.
Chris, there's a discrepancy, I'm sorry, BA, White, there's a discrepancy, on the contract, first page, fifth recital down. We're speaking about lot 17 and lot 17, sentences down and maybe 10 sentences down. I believe, because someone told me, it should be lot 12, both places, so we need clarity.
Well, the way I read it is, what they've done is they've combined the block and lots to explain that there will be 79 off-site parking spaces when those two lots are added together. So the reference to lot 12 is correct. The reference to lot 17 is also correct because it's a different lot.
Okay, so we
But
should,
it's not one that's being sold by us, it's one that was already acquired by the developer.
okay, so we should keep, on that recital lot 17, because it's
Yeah.
proper. Got it. You understand, Councilwoman Hill?
Yes, thank you for clarifying.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else?
Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn, Ross.
Second, Montague?
Motion to adjourn by Councilmember Wall, second by Councilmember Montague the third. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Meeting is adjourned at 7:29. Well, actually 7:30 PM. This is a regular meeting of the City Council of the City of Orange Township held at Orange Public Library, 348 Main Street, Orange, New Jersey, on Wednesday, June 4th, 2025, following the conference meeting. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
So we have Councilman Ross leading this meeting?
Sure. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Councilmember Cole.
Present.
Councilmember Eason.
Here.
Councilmember Hilbert.
Here.
Councilmember Montague the third.
Present.
Councilmember Ross.
Here.
Councilmember Summers Johnson.
Here.
Council President Wooten.
Here.
Also present is Joyce Lanier, City Clerk, Chris Hartwig, the BA via Zoom. LaQuanta Best, the Deputy Business Administrator, Derek Brown, the Fire Chief. I don't believe Niall is on. Oh, Niall is here too via Zoom. Gracia R. Montillis is here too as well. Okay. Marlon G. Towns, the Legislative Research Officer is here. Vincent Vidiella, Representative. Yeah, okay, he just outside. And Tricia City. The requirements of NJSA 10:4-9 et sec, the Sunshine Law has been met. A notice of this meeting was sent to the Star Ledger, the Orange Record Transcript, posted on the bulletin board in City Hall, the council's website, the city's website, and filed in the office of the city clerk. There are no minutes to be approved. There are no reports. There are no Oprah reports. Council, do you have any reports? No council reports. Communications and petitions, none. Citizen comments. Members of the public wishing to address the council may do so during this portion of the meeting. Speakers must sign their name on the comment sign-up sheet and approach the microphone when called upon to allow maximum public involvement. Each speaker is permitted 1 5-minute period to interact with the council and must provide his or her name and street address prior to beginning his or her remarks. Visual aids are not permitted. Speakers are reminded to be courteous, mindful of other individuals. Each person has the right to speak on any subject but is responsible for the use of that right. The city bears no liability for any comments made by the public and maintain discretion to remove any person engaging in obscene or disruptive comments. The council will consider all comments and questions and will respond and when appropriate, which may be not during this meeting or during this meeting.
Mrs. Mary L. Reed Vermont. And council members, Chad asked us to speak loud. I'm sorry.
My name is Mary Reed Vermont. I reside at 483 Hillside Avenue in Orange. And I'm here to talk about ordinance 24-2025, 512 to 522 Scotland Road. Last council meeting on May 20th, a tax abatement or exemption was approved by the council in this meeting. This proposal was reviewed by the planning board in August of 2024, and it was approved by the council, by the planning board on the condition that a travel study be conducted, reviewed by the planning board, and approved before it could be approved. I have been.
Excuse me for one moment, Mrs. Vermont. This ordinance was on the last prior meeting. That's why we don't. What is the address? That's why we don't have it before us.
512-522 Scotland Road, Orange.
Okay, thank you.
I've been attending the planning board meetings since August because I wanted to make sure when it came up, when the traffic study came up, and to my knowledge, it has not. There's no record that the traffic study was submitted to the planning board or reviewed by the planning board. I have a copy now of the traffic study, which is dated May 28th, 2025, which is after your meeting to approve the tax abatement and after the May planning board meeting. So I don't know, my question to you is how can you approve a tax exemption when the original proposal had not been approved versus by the planning board? In review of the traffic study, it does not address the unique characteristics of Hillside Avenue. There's a large 500 capacity church on that street, which has activities daily, some evenings and sometimes during the day. The traffic study only cited criteria that was established by the New Jersey Department of Transportation, and it talks about criteria that should be used versus different kinds of conditions. I don't see any evidence in this study where they actually visited or looked at the traffic flow of the site. They have cited traffic flow based on the criteria of a dentist's office being, because that's one of the building, a dentist's office and a private residence. But there's no evidence that they actually observed or looked at the traffic flow on the street. But my main question is, how can this be approved for a tax abatement or exemption when there's no record that it was officially approved by the planning board?
So, Senior Attorney, Ms. Rahi, or Madam ABA Best?
As far as the date on there, I know it said May 28th. The resolution, when it was approved by the board, it was under the condition of approval was that a traffic study would be completed, which that is a part of resolution compliance, which the developer is under right now. So I just wanted to make sure, because of the request that happened at the last meeting, that the traffic study was done, as that was part of resolution compliance. They're still undergoing that, but I wanted to ensure that the traffic study was completed as it was requested, so that is why you, well, not you, but I did, send it to Mr. Burke, I believe.
Right.
Who requested it, and I'm gonna also forward it to the council members. For
But my
the-
question still remains, how can the council approve a tax abatement when it has not been completed in the planning board? Because if I don't know, I have no evidence of how the planning board's review of this study, what their feedback is, because when you look at it, it's citing a lot of New Jersey Department of Transportation's criteria, but it's not looking at the unique characteristics of that area. And I would think that there would be some discussion on the planning board based on the knowledge of those members of that area. And it was my understanding that at the planning board, the condition was not that a traffic study be submitted, but that the traffic study be conducted, submitted, and approved by the planning board before the proposal could be approved.
Okay. Attorney, Ms. Walker?
So, while the resolution from the planning board included language that said that a traffic study should be submitted, the plan was included. It was issued for preliminary final approval.
When? Where's the document? Because it wasn't in any of the planning board.
myself from this one because I'm answering your question.
the attorney from the House Authority is on this, so
But the answer to your question is, first, there's a resolution that includes the project by the planning board. That's been passed. You acknowledge that it was passed because you read a portion of it to talk about the traffic study. That resolution includes the site plan. Regardless of that, when the council considers a pilot, and council considering a pilot and the planning board considering a site plan are two independent events. One may rely on the other, but they don't have to be done, the council's approval of a pilot doesn't have to be done at any specific time before or after the planning board approves the project. In this specific instance, the project has been approved, and so the council considered this pilot after the project was approved. In some cases, we had pilots that have been considered by the council before project was approved. And it's certainly, something that's legal, certainly something that's done all the time throughout the state in many municipalities. And that's really how it goes. Yeah.
Thank you.
Ms. Rodriguez?
Alicia Rodriguez?
Alicia Rodriguez, 47 Mountain View Ave. My questions are all over the place because I didn't have much time to prepare this time, so bear with me. I'll ask my personal questions first. With the construction on Mountain View and Scotland Road almost coming to an end, I think they're pretty much almost done with the construction there. What is their responsibility in regards to the roads and the sidewalks? The whole, it's like on a hill, so the bottom of the hill is pretty much indented. They redid the sidewalk when they broke everything down, and the whole sidewalk is sinking from the amount, and then the amount of trucks that they have just sitting on that sidewalk, on the bottom of that street every single day for the past few months is crazy. And the amount of weight, streets, have there been studies done that say, yes, you guys can leave that big machinery there for long periods of time? These streets have never had this kind of construction, at least not by my house. My houses are more than 114 years old. So have there been studies done? What is their responsibility to us, the residents? Because when I tell you the sidewalks are dilapidated, the street itself is kind of like almost like sinking under, and it keeps going down. So I don't understand why, or if there was a study done to make sure there was no environmental impact. The amount of debris that these construction companies or this construction causes for the last few months and the noise is just crazy. I've been living in the same house for 5 years, and there's been construction every day for 5 years. I don't understand like what, I guess the better question would be, what the responsibility is to the residents. Then my next question is, would there be permit parking allowed for Mountain View going forward after that? Since right now there is no parking. There's absolutely zero parking at nighttime. There's, by school board of education, there's probably 1, 2, 3, 4 buildings in that area above, and then that new building right on the bottom. So will we be able to apply for some type of permits? Moving on. I've been reading a lot about these bonds, and the verbiage in these ordinances is extremely difficult for a regular person like or any resident that doesn't really do this thing to understand. So these bonds that we're taking out in these pilots or whatever, do we have, like, who pays that off? So you take out these bonds, and we also charge the people a percentage of the revenues instead of charging them taxes, right? So I read that you guys are using the revenue to pay off these bonds. Can somebody explain how that works? So I don't understand the benefit of a bond. And then I also heard if we have one that's called like a general obligation bond, then that's actually something negative. So I just need some explanation there, because again, nothing that I can look up online helped explain that to me. Also, do we have a job referral center in HR? Is that a thing? That I want to answer to real quick. Follow up. Is there an HR job referral center? I have another one, but I need to answer that one first.
Okay, all right. VA Hartwright or Aaron? I'm sorry, attorney Ms. Robbie.
No, and I don't know why it's so confusing. So you know HR, you guys have an HR, right?
Yes.
There's somebody there responsible for a job referral center, correct? So basically somebody there is responsible to provide the residents with job opportunities from all these construction sites. That's what you state on the actual ordinances and the agreements.
Would you go to the front of the action?
It's not our job at first.
Hmm?
It's not our job at first.
No. It says that you guys have in the ordinance, and I went through them, it says that the way that you guys make sure that we're getting these job opportunities that cause a financial, that impact us, in a good way, that there is someone in HR that is responsible to make sure that they are in contact with the people that are doing the construction to make sure that they're hiring. But I never heard anyone say, so I'm asking, do we have that? Is that actually a thing?
We have a person who works with the our affirmative action officer that oversees the hiring. It's not a job referral center. A job referral center is something, a different concept.
So that's the verbiage that was in the ordinance.
But regardless, the job referral center is something that it's probably misleading, but we have a person who does oversee it.
So there is someone in HR that's gonna make sure, because this is one of the big things, you said substantial public benefit is jobs. And how can we really control it? Because a lot of these apartment buildings, for a fact, hire third company people, and I know because I know people that work in it, and they hire anybody. The person that owns the building has nothing to do with who's hired.
VA Hartwright, I think one of the questions was, for CFO clinics, the benefits of a bond. Either one of you? You both are muted. What are the benefits of bonds?
In particular,
Let's-
projects.
Let's talk about RAD bonds first. RAD bonds are redevelopment area bonds. They serve a couple purposes. One, you can use the proceeds to pay for project-related improvements in the area in which the project is located, or for general infrastructure improvements that benefit the city. Generally speaking, RAP bonds are paid two ways. One way is they're paid for out of the flow of pilot monies and segregated out to pay the actual debt service on the bond. The second way, and usually for small RAB bonds, the common way, is to issue those RAB bonds as GO RAB bonds, which are general obligation bonds backed by the full faith and credit of the municipality, and the municipality then pays the debt service on those bonds if they're issued. One of the reasons that you issue RAB bonds is because it's related to the interest component that can be charged in a pilot agreement. So you might have a small RAB bond that allows you under the long-term piloting, under the long-term tax exemption law, to bring the pilot payment below 10%. And oftentimes, when we use small RAB bonds, we're either accumulating those to do one specific project, or we're using them to do a project-specific improvement. So those are the differences and the reasons why we issue them.
Curly Campbell. Okay.
Hi, Willie Campbell, 55 Randolph Place. Okay, I have a couple of things. I wanted to follow up to Miss Mary's question. And
Ms. Campbell, could you speak a little bit louder,
Sure.
please? Thank you.
can you hear me? Is this good?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I want to follow up to Miss Mary's question, and my question is really to council, right? In terms of that particular project and that pilot, do you feel that had you had the results of the traffic study, would you have disapproved the pilot if you thought that the traffic study wasn't advantageous to the project? And so I bring that up because I think ultimately, I think what she was trying to say was that you guys didn't have that study to make some decision, right? And there's a disconnect between the planning board and what they asked for, and then your approval of a pilot that had you had that traffic study, you might have disapproved that pilot. So I'm wondering what your assessment of that is. So that's on the table to be answered if you choose to. My questions have to do with community benefits agreement. And again, these questions are directed to council. We've been seeing projects come to vote and come to light that include these CBAs. And so I'm not sure in terms of how much we've collected on them yet. However, I don't see where the community is consulted, included, surveyed, whatever you want to do, to decide how these CBAs will be used. And so I'm wondering, what the discussions are amongst you guys about how you foresee that being played out. And then next is environmental efforts. So as everybody knows, we have contamination in Metcalf Park, and it's currently being remediated. So I reviewed the ordinance, and so there's an ordinance that states that there should be an environmental commission. I know we have issues and troubles with standing up these different boards and commissions, but in light of past environmental issues that exist in Orange, we have 2 Superfund sites, and if you don't know what Superfund sites is, I urge you to Google them. We have contamination in Metcalf Park. It's possible there's contamination in other parks and other areas, public spaces in Orange. And then this evening, my neighbor gives me a letter from, do I have it? A letter she received that there's possible contamination in a water well. She just received it from PSE&G. It has to do with the Orange Valley substation, and they found levels in the groundwater that's beyond NJDEP's recommendation, and they're doing door-to-door canvass of homes within a mile away from South Jefferson Street. And so Clearly, there are environmental issues in Orange, have been in Orange. And so there's a need for this environmental commission. And so is this something that's on our radar? Do we plan on, putting together this board to address the many environmental concerns that exist? Last is, nobody told the residents that Metcalf was closed for voting. I see tonight that you do have a letter. Thank you. Wondering how it will be distributed to residents in the area because attendance here is, I don't think that how they're going to get this. And then the other thing too is it says South Ward 4. That district is not South Ward 4, it's South Ward 5. Okay, thanks.
So, the district is South Ward 4, and that came from the county, but I'm not gonna argue with you. It is going to be several, ways that it's gonna go out to the citizens. Sometimes I just want people to know, just because you don't see us reacting or you don't see anything on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, does not mean that it's being looked at or taken care of. So this was brought to our attention by a district leader, also by our clerk, also by Director Mays. So we knew about this far in advance. And if you know, things don't move so fast, but we were on top of it. It was kind of disheartening to hear people saying that we weren't on top of it. We were.
Council President, let me say something. You shouldn't be on the defensive because these are, but it sounds like, because you're saying all the places where it didn't exist. That wasn't the issue, right? The issue is that residents, we're 10 days from an election and residents don't know where to vote. So I'm not really, we should all be working together to make sure that people know where to vote. That's it. That's all I was trying to say. That's all I was trying to say. But I'm all in
community benefit, we haven't spent on anything yet. We haven't, to my knowledge, we haven't spent any of the community benefits that we recently approved.
So the question was on the plan to spend. What is the plan to engage the community to find out how it will be spent?
Via Hartwhite?
No, that question is not for Hardwick. It's not for Hardwick. It's not for Hardwick. The question is for council. It's for council because council is the link to the community. Council is the link to the community. It's not for Hardwick. I think we have enough of the city deciding what the residents want. You guys are the link to the community. You guys need to meet with us. You need to survey us. You need to find out what is it we need in our different communities that these benefit agreements should be spent on.
So your time is up.
What about the Environmental Commission?
Gerald Murphy.
So we're not going to address any other questions that was asked? All right.
Gerald Murphy. Gerald Murphy. Do we have a police officer here tonight?
It wouldn't help. It wouldn't help. It wouldn't help.
We're gonna do this.
It wouldn't help. See, the door's open. They do what they see.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Gerald Murphy, 22 North Harrison Street. So I was listening to the people talk. I'm going to start off with this young lady right here. That she was talking about environmental. There's a lot of environmental issues down in the valley. I spoke to the mayor. I spoke to Mr. Hardwick. There's a lot of money that could be accessed to the city, over $100 million, to be able to take care of that situation. We just wait for Mr. Hardwick to get back. Then we'll put that in motion to clean up the brownfields and all the environmental issues down in the valley. The second thing I'm gonna talk about is Councilwoman Hubbard. She talked about the parking. So, to my understanding, a couple of weeks ago, somebody went in City Hall in the middle of the night and went up in LaQuanta Best's office and took some parking badges out. Was planning on, I don't know what they were gonna do with them, but they took them. So you cannot, they got them back here, but you can't just
not do anything if somebody's going inside City Hall to take something that they're not supposed to take. You gotta be able to, you're gonna charge people for other things. You have to be able to charge the person who has something that they wanna do. And who knows, he may want to sell them or whatever. But does council know that that happened at City Hall? That somebody went in there and stole the parking passes? Does any of y'all know that that happened?
I don't know, but thank you.
It's,
So,
Mr. Murphy, while we're on the subject of stolen parking permits, you seem to have 2 official business placards in your car.
Not-
Bring them in before the end of this meeting, because otherwise we'll get referred to the police on those.
yeah, okay.
So, yeah.
But-
You're not a city official.
But-
You're not a city
Okay.
employee. You have no right to have official business placards in your vehicle. I don't know where you got them.
I got them because I got them to help the council. Okay. You know,
Bring them back into the city because you use them to park illegally throughout the city.
no, I don't even be in the city no more. I don't even be in the city no more. Okay, I don't be. Nobody talk about the stuff that you did when you stole people's property. Nobody stole. You talked about that. My 430 came, you stole people's property here in City Hall. You stole my doctor's property, 44 Jefferson Street. Must I go on? You and Carl, must I go on?
Oh, my God.
Oh, okay. Don't get me started, but I got a lot to let loose.
This is what happens
Like you
when we
disrespected this lady.
allow it.
If that was a white person, you wouldn't have
Here we go.
disrespected her.
Yes, I got
You know how I feel about you.
Next question.
Like, you shouldn't be here. You shouldn't be here. Okay? I thought,
Even if professional.
Oh my God, stop talking from that. Can we get order, please? Because this is not gonna work. This is not gonna work. Come on. This, can we adjourn?
Yeah.
Can we adjourn? Take a recess.
Take a recess.
I make a motion to take a recess. Make a motion to take a recess.
To take in a 10-minute.
10-minute recess. I'm not doing.
Council President.
Motion to reconvene, Summers Johnson.
Second, Coley.
Okay, motion to reconvene by Councilmember Summers Johnson, second by Councilmember Coley. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are now reconvened at 8:04 PM.
Council President, if I may.
Yes.
So just wanted to make clear, number one, Mr. Murphy's time was preserved, is that correct? So he will pick up from where he left off. Going forward, ladies and gentlemen, everybody's allowed 5 minutes to speak. You will have your 5 minutes. Okay, we will not engage in any further back and forth in terms of answering while you're speaking. You can get your questions out, and to the extent that they can be answered, they will be answered. To the extent that they can't be answered and need to be referred back to the administration or other members of the city, then they will be. But there will be no back and forth. You'll get your 5 minutes. If you speak for 2 or 3, you speak for 2 or 3. That's number one. Number two, the city council and the governing body conducts their meeting. This is their meeting. This is their meeting to give you information. Okay, so we will again respect their meeting and we will respect your opportunity to speak and to ask questions that are pertinent to city business. 3, let me make it clear. The point that Mr. Murphy raised with respect to the stolen placards was a personnel and remains a personnel matter that was dealt with internally with the administration. There is absolutely no way or a need for the governing body to be apprised or to be made aware of that issue. So that is a personnel matter that is being handled by the administration internally. With that said, and I agree and I echo the words of the chief, we will conduct ourselves professionally and we will respect each other and we will respect this governing body who is working for the city of Orange Township. Thank you. We are working for the city of Orange.
It just can't stop. It just can't. It just can't stop. We're just trying to move on. Yeah. Trust me, we know we have voice. We all have voices. I'm in my feelings. I'm fine. Like, did you hear anything that he just said?
Conduct ourselves in a proper manner. Go ahead. Mr. Murphy.
Yes, Mr. Murphy.
Go ahead and finish. You got 2 minutes.
All right,
2 seconds, I think.
2 seconds. You all fired. P all the way, baby. We're talking about, I see a lot of police officers here, a lot of fire here. So I know that they're talking about layoffs. That's a big thing when you need public safety. So you guys got to figure a way out that we don't lay nobody off. We keep everybody working, keep everybody happy, and live on, you know? Orange is a good city. I try to do my part to help. I've been helping this mayor for the last umpteen years, and the mayor before that. You know, but like I said, I got a lot of ideas to turn this corner, because the corner really needs to be turned, you know? But people just gotta listen and don't take me as a bad guy. I may act, you know, one way, but I'm really a little puppy in another way to try to help my people that look like me. Because a lot of people, they all about themselves. I ain't about myself. All right?
Thank you, Mr. Murphy.
I think this is Belange Albert. John, they signed it John M. I need your last name, please, Mr. M.
Good evening. My name is Jakam Sack. I can put John because you can't pronounce that. So JAAKANMASSAC.
All right, thank you.
Yes, how you doing? How about the Yankees? Some tense in there. Now, I wanted to bring up the concern he just brought up. I had mind hearing about the layoffs about this city with several departments, let it be from all the way from public safety down to DPW. And what is the plans that the city council is going to do to try to help minimize the concerns that may arise due to the lowering of manpower and as well as allocating funds to fix the issue in a timely fashion?
Ask all your
That's it. I'm keeping it simple.
questions. Thank you.
So B.A. Cartwright, I don't know if you heard Mr. M. Would you like to repeat that, sir? Just one more time, I'm sorry.
I just wanted to know what.
With the possible layoffs that might be occurring, how is there a plan being developed to basically handle the lower manpower to then reduce that to allocate the funds to now bring back more public safety, DPW, to keep the city clean and safe? Because our public safety employees definitely keep us safe. The cops, the firefighters. I've been living in this area since '98. I've watched the change from a lot of issues to how clean it's gotten. But without the work of these employees, that doesn't happen. So my concern is, I understand that there's a budget issue and it got to be handled the way it needs to be handled. But what we did a long-term resolution to fix that.
B.A. Cartwright, did you hear him?
Yeah, can you repeat it in some?
It's something he was asked to lay on a long-term, resolution to fix. He understands that there may be, you know, layoffs or cuts in jobs, and if they're long, and what are we gonna do, or what are we proposed to do to bring those people back to the city and also sustain the city, whereas it relates to, public safety.
So every effort's being made to limit the layoffs in public safety, both police and fire. The plan is, once people are laid off, if they're laid off, to bring them back based on attrition. There are a number of retirements coming up. Those retirements will hit the budget either in late '25 or early '26. If those people who have been laid off are still on what's called the rice list in police, then they will be contacted to return to work. And we've been working with both the police chief and the fire chief to ensure that structurally we can provide the same level of service that we're providing now. And although that's going to be difficult because we're asking people to do more with less, we are confident that we can achieve that goal.
All right. Thank you, interesting.
Thank you. I'm Anthony Burke. Anthony Burke?
No.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Motion to close citizens' comments.
Thank you.
Summers
Second.
Johnson.
Second.
Motion to close citizen comments by Councilmember Summers Johnson, second by Councilmember Easton. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Council Thomas. Council Cole.
Nothing to say.
Councilwoman.
Wait, it's a truck going by.
Say nothing.
No.
It's an airplane. It's like something.
That's a motorcycle.
Okay. Thank you.
Motorcycle. Motorcycle gang out there.
Are we good now?
Councilwoman.
I just want. I don't know. It's a whole. I don't know what's going on out there. I don't know.
The next motorcycle will go by, so we
Exactly.
drowned out my voice, but I just want to thank everyone for coming out tonight. And granted, we have a lot going on. Everybody's tensions are high. Everybody wants everything, but we also, I want to say, we have to learn how to talk to each other and have a conversation. My boss used to tell me that at work all the time. It's just a conversation, two people communicating, not yelling and screaming. And we know we don't all agree on everything, but we can at least compromise and try to come to the middle ground. I just want to say for the North Ward that my ward is under siege, so I'm going to be working diligently, talk to the mayor. I have so many volleyball courts and soccer fields going up in these backyards and so many landscapes. My whole ward is becoming a commercial ward. So we're gonna look at ways to try and curtail some of that, so some of the people not gonna be happy, but we can't take a residential home and turn it into a commercial property. And I am really surprised from my ward that I don't have my residents coming here complaining about things, because when you talk about noise and you can't get up the street because somebody's got this long trail of landscaping blocking the street, trying to back down a narrow driveway. And if you notice the properties next to you, we need to say something to somebody. You need to come to the city, because we all talk about taxes. And I've been fighting this battle for 2 years that if you turn your property into a commercial property in a residential neighborhood, you should pay more taxes. I don't know how we do that, but you should not be paying the same taxes I'm paying because you're running a business out of your home. And that's what's happening. And I'm just shocked that nobody's coming forward at the soccer fields and the volleyball courts. You're talking about parking. I came through the other night. I couldn't realize why it was so congested with parking, but there was volleyball competition in one of those backyards. And those people come from all over New York, all parts of New Jersey. They take up all the parking. They're there to 1 and 2 in the morning. And we have to find a way to stop that. So I'm going to ask our city attorney if he will assign one of the attorneys to that project to see what we can come up with to curtail some of the activities that's going on. And with College Park, I thought we agreed that we were not going to rent that out to soccer on the weekends. So we're back to that again. So I will be addressing that this week, because we built that park for the community and for the kids to be able to go and play it. That's not happening because there's too many soccer programs. Our kids are standing at the gates looking in because they're not allowed in there because everybody's playing soccer. I mean, they should be able to go out and just have a little fun and have some fresh air. So I'm going to ask our city attorney to assign
alternative to that project, as they say, as I always say, we gotta find a loophole somewhere to do some legislation to curtail that. And that's all I have for tonight. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Council President. So I'm gonna use my 5 minutes just to kind of see if I can get some updates from the administration in regards to, a couple of things that we wanted to work on as a ward in the West Ward. One of the topics is regards to Lincoln and Menton Place. I know Director Mays is not here, so I extend the question to, Deputy. No, I was trying to use my prototype, sorry. Deputy, BA, Best, or to the actual BA in regards to like, what is the wait time to get, a three-way stop sign in that area?
I can definitely speak to Director Mays to see if that is something that he has been, proposing, and I'll absolutely talk to Chris tomorrow, I'm sorry, VA Hartwick tomorrow, and I'll get that information to you if they have time for that.
Okay, and just to give you background, because I know this is probably your first time hearing it, but we did reach out to the engineer department to see if they could do a traffic study, because it's right there next to the Lincoln Avenue School. And the crossing guard there, she's been very, vigilant, trying to help with
I
the
know
traffic.
exactly the area you're talking about, because it definitely does need one, I agree.
Yes, and there was actually just a car accident yesterday.
Okay.
So, hopefully, I know school year is almost over, and it's not just about the students, it's everybody who's crossing the area, but hopefully we could get something done over the summer. I would love to see a three-way stop. The other question I have is in regards to procuring property. And I don't know if the law department could help me with this as well, but there is a lot for sale on Central Avenue, not too far from the fire station. How can we go about entertaining procuring property so that we can erect our own, multi-level parking garages and relieve some of the parking issues there on the Lincoln and Central Avenue area?
So that's something that really, I think that we would benefit greatly from a parking authority, because the parking authority has the ability to bond separately from the city without affecting the city's finances, and to procure their own dedicated financing to build parking there. I think that we do need to explore that throughout the city. I think that we need to identify areas throughout the city that can accommodate multi-level parking. And then as we bring the parking authority online, translate that over to them to really sort of improve the
Thank you. So is it something where a council member can forward you the information? How does that work? Because a parking authority, we're still working on that. That property could be eaten up, picked up, or sold by then.
Right, a lot of that really has to do with how much they're at. We could certainly forward it on to us and WBA, Best, and Commissioner Hartwick, and we will look at it. The problem is obviously the current funds right now is a bit difficult in order to acquire property.
Thank you for that. I also have another question in regards to legislation. When it comes to the Airbnb, I was told by Attorney Montilez to submit my information or my version of the proposed legislation to him. Since then, there has been no conversations or follow-ups in regards to that. So I asked you today, what should be the next step in regards to putting Airbnb in front of the council as a draft to actually vote on?
It's about all this council voting for not getting back to you. I'll call you and arrange you to speak and follow up. One of my goals is to have legislation before council consideration to order, but I would like to talk to you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And I yield the rest of my time. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Marshall.
Good evening, everyone. Well, I did it last meeting. My goal for the 2025 budget is to lessen the tax burden for the residents. That's my number one thing. My vote will be for the residents to decrease the taxes. That's a no doubt. You hear me saying it, that's a guarantee. I will be voting for the citizens. Okay? Question. It seems like in Orange, the thing that we really need done, it doesn't happen. What is the problem with the recreation center on Main Street? Ever since I've been in council. What's the movement on that? Can somebody tell me anything about the rec center at the YMCA on Main Street? Everything seems to move quickly, but these type things, they don't move quick.
Sure, it's a very complicated transaction. It's a transaction that was structured one way, that took a couple of years to structure that way. And then the law changed and we have to restructure the transaction. And it's a complicated public-private partnership. So we have had setbacks. We're in the process of negotiating documents for both the redevelopment agreement and the pilot agreement and the sales contract for the property. But that's taking time. And, you know, I can't tell you how many months we have spent that were basically wasted when the law changed. We had to start all over from scratch. So, you know, we've had that setback. We had to put our heads together and see what type of a structure we could come up with that met everybody's needs. We think we have that structure now, and we're in the process of trying to document that through the agreements that I mentioned.
So how long do you think that will take for us to get this started, to see some demolition, to see some progress?
Well, I hesitate to put a time frame on it, but I'm hopeful that by the end of 25, we would see some demolition.
Okay. Thank you. Next question. As far as the parking authority, I'm hearing mixed reviews. Are we having a parking authority or aren't we? That's taking a long time as well. Are we gonna have it? It's much needed. We need money coming into the city.
Well, therein lies the issue. You need money coming into the city. And the parking authority diverts revenue from the city. If we had a parking utility, that revenue would be directed to the city. And in these very challenging financial times, I think we have to look at that very carefully before we go and appoint a board. The legislation has been created. There have not been appointments to the board because there's been a lack of interest. So I think when you take all those things into consideration, the administration and the council have to have a serious discussion about how to move forward.
Well, you know, I have to beg to differ. I think we had enough individuals that was interested in being on the parking authority. Definitely, we had, what do we need, 7 people?
7 people qualified.
Yeah, that's the key.
You know, it depends. What do you consider qualified for a parking authority? It's a non-paid position.
It's a non-paid position that will manage over $1 million in city assets. So there has to be someone with an understanding of government, someone with an understanding of business, finance.
So when are we gonna?
Parking, if you can find it.
Right.
And all of those qualifications haven't been met.
So when do you think we're gonna make a decision? Are we gonna have the parking authority or aren't we? Which one? Well,
I think that's a discussion that the council has to have. The council already adopted the legislation. So I think that going forward, either there's going to be appointments or there's going to be a discussion between the administration and the council as to how to move forward.
Right. All right, thank you. I defer to my council colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Long.
Thank you, Council President. Good evening, everyone. Mr. B.A. Hardwick, just to talk about the parking authority real quickly again. I think that we should move forward expeditiously and determine whether we should have an in-house parking authority or handle it in-house or through the authority. My recommendation is that we do it in-house. Okay, I think we will save a lot of money. I think we should get dedicated employees that will just write tickets, day in and day out and day night. We need the parking meters that I've been asking for years on Main Street from Glenwood Avenue up to North Park Street. There's so much money and revenue that we're not generating because we're not writing tickets. We don't have meters. The meters are broke. But I think we would be better off handling this parking authority in-house. Okay? It's taken so long to get this thing done. I think we could get it done much quicker if we did it in-house and just had dedicated employees that, could handle this. So we need to talk about that. But I also want to make a couple announcements that the Essex County is sponsoring a fishing derby at Orange Park this Saturday, June 7th. Registration starts at 8 a.m. For more information, you can call the county at 973-268-3500. Again, 973-268-3500. I've been to this fishing derby many times. It's a great event. I had my grandkids there, my kids there. They catch a fish and used to see their faces when that fish comes out the water. It's a great event. So if you can make it this Saturday, June 7th, 8 a.m. We also have an election coming up next Tuesday. Early voting started yesterday. Come out and vote for governor, state assembly, and the county clerk. There's early voting places. The closest place is in East Orange, but there's a Bloomfield has early voting, East Orange, Fairfield, Irvington, North Verona, and West Orange. So again, it started yesterday. If you want to vote early, please get out and vote. There's a PCC meeting on 6/12, which is this when is the 12th? Friday. Thursday, I'm sorry. From 7 to 8:30 at the Police Department, 29 Park Street. Please show up if you can. A lot of great information comes from these meetings. Also, I have a question regarding Metcalf Park. What is the date for the completion of the tennis courts and when will that park be reopening? Can anybody answer that question for me?
So the remediation has to be completed before the park can open.
Understood.
The remediation is just getting underway, so I'm not exactly sure how many months that will take, but it will take a few months. So I'll get you a more specific timeline from Mr. Mays, but I wouldn't expect that it's going to happen during this summer.
So, just to be clear, that park will be closed all summer, including the pool?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. What else do I have? Oh, this I noticed in the city or in our building, and I just saw this flyer. There's a lot of festivals happening in Orange Park: the Gospel, Jazz, Caribbean, International, and Latino. Does this affect our budget in any way? Or what are we contributing to these festivals, if anything?
Some of the festival sponsorship is supported by the budget. The one thing that usually adds up is the off-duty services of police officers. We've gotten a handle on that. We're also talking to the county about making sure that they have people down at the park to limit, the number of officers that we have to have. All of the festivals that have, currently been planned, some of them may not happen, or one or two of them may not happen. That's up in the air based on the budget.
Okay, thank you. And last but not least, June 15th is what?
Father's Day.
Father's Day. So happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there.
Everybody's
June
like-
15th. Thank you, Council President.
Council President.
Okay,
Excuse me, Councilwoman Silver.
yes.
Piggybacking on what Councilman, can one of our, can our clerk let the public know where the early voting locations are? You guys have a list?
I have a list right here.
Would you read it so because a lot of people know there's early voting.
They should have got it in the mail.
Yeah, but they didn't see that, so just read it aloud.
Okay, the Bloomfield is on Bloomfield Avenue and Congress Street, Watesson Park Community Center. In East Orange is at the City Hall, 44 City Hall Plaza. In Fairfield is the Community Center, 221 Hollywood Avenue. Irvington is the Municipal Building, 1 Civic Square West. Newark is the Steve Abbott Sports Center, Branchbrook Park Drive at Bloomfield Avenue. And the Essex County Complex Parking Garage on West Market Street entrance. Weekway Park Community Center, Meeker and Elizabeth. Westside Park Community Center, 17th Street. In Verona is the Community Center at 888 Bloomfield Avenue. And in West Orange, it's at the Burson Family Center, South Mountain Recreation Complex, 560 Northfield Avenue.
Is there a reason why Orange doesn't have one?
The county selects them.
We requested it early notice,
Requested it, then we might can get one, but.
so we
county-
request one
You
for
want to request
Orange.
one for Orange?
So
It's
our
not
resident-
gonna happen this time, though.
No, but
Okay.
for going forward, so our residents won't have to go from city to city to do early voting.
And it also costs money. When you
Right,
sit
and I
out.
was told that it was because of our turnout. We have a low turnout.
But the county should pay for that.
We have.
Yeah. That should be their responsibility.
Councilwoman Summers Johnson.
Thank you. So can I borrow this for a second? So the teacher and me, when I said it came in the mail and you said people don't look at it. So that's mistake number one. Yeah, that's mistake number one. And I say that because we all get calls because people say they don't know where to vote. I don't mean early voting. I mean, they don't know where to vote. And I always get confused when they say that because if they're registered to vote, they get this in the mail. My goddaughter, who just turned 18, registered to vote last month, has already received, I think she gets a letter like every other day confirming where she votes. Like at some point, we have to get serious about elections, voting, and information that's out there. For some reason, stuff gets on Real Talk, it gets around real fast. So imagine if we use those tools to put out things that are extremely important. You said voter turnout. Imagine if we use that tool for something positive. What an amazing town we would be. Now, moving on. Clerk, Miss Clerk, Madam Clerk, talking about Metcalf being closed and no voting taking place there. I know you said, I know Haywood already has 5 and 2 there, and now you're bringing 4.
Not me.
I mean, not you. I mean, I know you got to be careful because it'll be on Real Talk or in a group chat. But 5 and 2 was already there. They're bringing 4.
Yeah.
My question is, will the workers be equipped to handle now this new influx?
A specific number of workers for each machine.
Okay.
Yeah.
That part. Second part, are we going to contact Forest Street School just to let them know for the kids that they go to Forest Street, but they may live close to Metcalf? Like, are we doing robocalls? What exactly are we doing? Can you just say exactly what we are doing? So when people say we're not doing anything, and I don't mean anyone here, I'm just saying they might say they didn't know. I actually want to know because I received a letter when we did the flag raising, was that Tuesday, Monday? Monday. So I just want to know, so I can tell residents if they call me. So, Madam Clerk, Madam President?
It's going to be robocalls, it's going to be text calls, flyers are going to be dropped, in
Use your
addition.
mic.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Robocall, text,
Robocalls
drops.
will go out.
Mm-hmm.
Text messages will also go out. Flyers will also go out. Posters will be put on both entrances to the park.
Okay.
And the district leader of that district is also knocking that district herself.
Okay.
And, you know, as I said, that's district, S4.
Yes.
And what we can do is.
Signs on the door, right, where people go.
Okay.
normally,
Right.
and tell them to go somewhere else.
All right. Thank you so much. So,
Oh, I'm sorry, there'll be someone posted there.
posted there to redirect.
Police officer, so if someone didn't get the robocall, didn't get the text message, didn't see the sign, didn't get the drop, didn't get the knock on the door, it'll also be an officer there, posted there at the park on the day of election to let them know that they're gonna be at Hayward Avenue.
Thank you very much.
Well,
Memorial Weekend, I was so happy to see Central Pool open from 10 to 5. The weather didn't really cooperate, but since I've been in Orange, we've always opened 4th of July. So I love that we open Memorial, and we'll be open every weekend from 10 to 5. So I guess it'll just be Central until they bring Colgate on. You just need swim caps and proper swim attire. I may do like a learn to swim week with the councilwoman because I can swim and I do teach. All right. Congratulations to all the graduates. I know the college graduates are coming out, and soon Orange High School, I believe their graduation is the 20th. Last week, 189 students at Orange High School declared what college they were going to, and they received an Under Armour duffel bag, and I thought that was awesome. It's a big thing about going to school and not going to school in a garbage bag. And if you've been in college, you know there are some students that have to come that way. So I thought that was awesome for Orange Board of Education. On Monday, we raised the flag for the LGBTQ plus community. I talked about the Recycle Coach app. I don't know if everyone is familiar, but there's an app that you can put on your phone, Recycle Coach. It will tell you what garbage goes out and what recycles go out, like tomorrow's glass, and I already got 3 alerts to let me know that. The gentleman came up and talked about layoffs. In our last budget meeting, we weren't even able to move forward with anything because we have not received the money that we needed to make any decisions. I don't think anyone sitting in here wants to lay off police or fire. I'm gonna be real quick, I'm sorry. Okay. BA Chris, can you please, I know the mirror came in for Argyle and Scotland Road, but it still hasn't been put up yet. There was supposed to be a mirror to help with getting out of Argyle and going on to Scotland. And I still wanted the bus stop to be yellow, if they could look into it, because they're still parking on the bus stop on Scotland. And the last thing, as hard as it is, I know for us to get along, we still have to do it. Trust me, I had to reach back into my upbringing to remain calm, but I did it. My kids were proud. I'm proud of myself. And that's what we have to do. It's not easy, but we definitely have to work hard to do it. As a council, we are working hard, and as a community, and the back and forth from everybody, it just messes up the whole tone of the meeting. And I watch other council meetings and it doesn't happen there, or it does, and it just shouldn't be here. So what they say, not orange. Thank you.
Council President, yes, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but Councilwoman, Summers Johnson just mentioned, I attended the Essex County graduation last week, and we had 8 students from Orange that received their associate's degree that graduated from Essex County College.
And on that note, my first cousin was the keynote speaker, and I think we're going to be bringing him to Orange. He's the president of Howard University Hospital. So that was awesome for them to see someone that looks like them in a position like that.
And so we are doing, the school district's doing some great things for
Yes,
the kids.
definitely.
Yeah.
Associates in high school is amazing. Thank you, Council President. Thank you, Council Vice President.
Howard.
I'm sorry, not North Carolina.
Yeah. So ordinance,
I can't.
ordinance 21/2025 is going to be postponed. Ordinance 32/2025 will remain postponed. Being hard right, do you have anything that's gonna be postponed or pulled, or any other council member?
Well, we're recommending 33/2025 be postponed also. It's missing some documents.
33?
Yeah.
So 33/2025, recommended for that to be postponed as well.
Yes.
Missing documents.
It's missing a placard.
So I know at one point, being hard right, we asked that Marty Mays. I know that at one point we asked that Marty Mays, check with his department before the documents get to us. So we wouldn't have to pull them or postpone, we could just verify that you are on ADA, tomorrow for us.
Yeah, we've had that discussion, so I'll have it again.
Okay, all right, thank you. We also need to know, like, a date that Metcalf Park is gonna be open, because there's a flyer out that says the 30th, so could Mr. Mays, Director Mays confirm that as well?
Yep.
Okay. All right. We are gonna be having a Juneteenth program. Councilman Montague, Councilman Ross, Councilman, Coley, Councilwoman Easton, maybe, I'm not sure, but, it's gonna be in honor of, the late Tommy or Thomas Edwards. And it's gonna be in honor of him because he was the person, that pulled up to my house and blew the horn and said, "Woo, get out here, y'all need to do a Juneteenth." And then we immediately followed suit. He was the person, that would be in the park, painting benches. He would be painting rims. He would be doing whatever it took to be in the bathroom. He is one of my dear friends, and I'm getting choked up, and I say is because he remains that. So we are going.
Not.
I know.
Because I will.
Doing that in honor of, Tom.
Breathe. Breathe.
I also want to say thank you so much for the residents that came out today. It's greatly appreciated that you come out. Even though sometimes we go back and forth, there's not anyone in this room that I've not ever seen before and I've not ever had a conversation with before. I think most of us, if we haven't, and I think there's a number of you that have our personal telephone numbers, and you are quite welcome to call us as you've done in the past, to talk about your concerns. We've been to several people's homes, we've sat out in backyards, we've met you on the tennis courts and the swimming pools and anywhere that you needed us to come to talk to you about your various issues. Don't want you to think that your voice goes unheard. There are certain questions that we can answer, there are certain questions that we won't answer. It's not any disrespect to any of you. It's just that, sometimes it may take a bit longer, as it did with Big Hartwick explaining the bonds. So if you would like to reach out to one of us individually or all of us to ask us our questions on what we think about certain things, I'm quite sure you'll get answers. The commission or the committee, and that young lady left, that's something that we talk about as a group. We have committees and commissions, and we appoint people to these committees. And then sometimes we can't even get a quorum because sometimes the people that say, appoint us, they don't show up, then there's not a quorum, then there's not a meeting. So if any of you are interested in being appointed to any committees or commissions that we, the council, appoint to, there's a list of those things in the clerk's office, and you can even call and ask them to send you a list of those things. And it's got to the point that some council members have agreed that if we need to remove certain people from certain committees, that's what we'll do to make sure that we maintain, we get, our committees together. And thank you so much. Oh, the summer schedule for council meetings is, Madam Clerk.
We normally have one meeting
in July.
in July
And one in August.
and one meeting in August.
Yeah,
So, and that's gonna be the first meeting of the month.
right.
But we're still here, so just come and call, talk.
Do you have the dates?
I'm sorry.
July 1st, we know that one,
July
and then
1st.
August.
And the first Tuesday in August. And that should be on the website, and it should be on our, we have an Instagram page too, it should be on that. But, Madam ABA said it's August the 5th.
5th, okay, thank you.
The next meeting that we'll have will be in the North Ward, the mighty North Ward of Councilwoman Easton. It will be at Crossing Crown Church. That will go out. It's gonna be a pleasure to be over there in the North Ward. Hopefully we can get a big crowd to watch the dog and the people that live in the North Ward over there and the other areas as well. I know Councilwoman Easton looks forward to that.
And I just say,
Thank you.
just, we'll be at Crossing Crowd, so pray before you come.
And pray while you're there.
And pray while you're there.
Thank y'all so much.
We should have it at your house.
That's for.
Ordinance on second reading, public hearing, 21-2025. An ordinance to amend the code of the city of Orange Township, chapter 200, entitled Vehicles and Traffic, section 200-52-1, handicap parking spaces, 294 North Center Street. The recommendation is for this item to be postponed. Can I get a motion?
Motion to postpone, Summers Johnson.
Second, Montague.
Motion to postpone by Councilmember Summers Johnson, second by Councilmember Montague the third. Roll call. Councilmember Coley,
Yes.
Councilmember Eason,
Yes.
Councilmember Gilbert,
Yes.
Councilmember Montague the third,
Yes.
Councilmember Ross,
Yes.
Councilmember Summers Johnson.
Yes.
Council President Wu. Yeah. This item is postponed. 23-2025, an ordinance of the municipal council of the city of Orange Township, Essex County, New Jersey, amending chapter 107 of the municipal code of the city of Orange Township entitled Garbage, Rubbish, and Refuse to revise the earliest time garbage receptacles may be placed ready for collection. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak? Motion to close citizen comments.
Motion to close citizen comments.
Second Coley.
Motion by Councilmember Eason, second by Councilmember Coley. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion to adopt.
Second, Montague.
Motion by Councilmember Wooten, second by Councilmember Montague the third on the motion. Seeing none, roll call. Councilmember Coley?
No.
No. Councilmember Eason?
No.
No. Councilmember Hilbert? Yes. Councilmember Montague the third?
No.
No. Councilmember Ross?
No.
Councilmember Summers Johnson?
No.
Council President Wu?
No.
No. Okay, that motion did not pass. 29-2025, an ordinance of the municipal council of the city of Orange Township to approve a tax exemption for a 23-year period and authorizing execution and final agreement between the city and 23 Essex Urban Mill LLC for the property located at 2620 Galento Plaza and 23 South Essex Avenue, identified on the city tax map as block 2705, lot 1 and 10. This was postponed from 5/20. Are there any citizens wish to speak? Motion to close citizen comments.
Motion to close citizen comments.
Second.
Second Coley.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to adopt.
Move.
Second, Eason.
Motion to adopt by Councilmember Wooten, second by Councilmember Eason. On the motion?
On the motion.
Councilwoman Gilbert.
Through you to the business administrator, when was the, community benefits, agreement for this one?
I'm sorry, I could only hear part of that.
She said, when was the community benefit for this ordinance?
When will it be paid?
No.
No.
When was it?
It was the last meeting?
On the agenda, right?
Okay. My question to you is in regards to the businesses, is there any way that we can incorporate, like a relocation plan? Or is it too late to negotiate that?
Well, we're not doing anything, the municipality isn't doing anything that would require a relocation plan. It's all privately owned property, so it's all dependent upon the lease negotiations between the tenants and the owners.
So there's no way that we can advocate for those businesses there?
We can certainly have discussions with the owner.
Okay, I'll follow up in email. Thank you so much.
Anyone else on the motion? Roll call, Councilmember Coley,
Yes.
Councilmember Eason,
Yeah, yes.
Councilmember Hilbert,
Abstain.
Councilmember Montague III,
Abstain.
Councilmember Ross,
Abstain.
Councilmember Summers Johnson,
Yes.
and Council President Wooten.
Yeah.
So that's 3 abstain. Somebody missed, did I miss it?
No, you got 3, it's 4
Three
yes.
abstain, 4 yes, the motion passed. So 32/2025, an ordinance to amend the code of the city of Orange Township, chapter 200, entitled Vehicle and Traffic, section -10.2, residential parking permit. The recommendation is for this to be, remain postponed.
Motion to continue postponement?
Second, Coley.
Motion to continue to be postponed by Councilmember Eason, second by Councilmember Coley on the motion. Seeing none, roll call. Councilmember Coley,
Yes.
Councilmember Eason,
Yes.
Councilmember Hilbert,
Yes.
Councilmember Montague III,
Yes.
Councilmember Ross,
Yes.
Councilmember Summers Johnson,
Yes.
Council President Wooten.
Yeah.
This item will remain postponed. 33/2025, an ordinance to amend the code of the city of Orange Township, chapter 200, entitled Vehicle and Traffic, section 200-52-1, handicap parking spaces, 476 Waverly Place. The recommendation is for this to remain to be postponed. Recommendation, motion.
Motion to postpone.
Motion by Councilwoman Eason, second.
Montague?
Second by Councilmember Montague, third on the motion. Seeing none, roll call. Councilmember Cole,
Yes.
Councilmember Eason,
Yes.
Councilmember Hilbert,
Yes.
Councilmember Montague III,
Yes.
Councilmember Ross.
Yes.
Councilmember Summers Johnson.
Yes.
Council President Wooten.
Yes.
This item will remain postponed. 34/2025, an ordinance of the city of Orange Township to approve a tax exemption for a 22-year period and authorizing the execution of a financial agreement between the city and Orange Remax Properties Urban Renewal LLC. Motion to adopt on first.
Motion.
Second?
Motion by Councilmember Montague III, second by Councilmember Eason on the motion.
On the motion,
Councilman Ball.
I have to recuse myself. I have a conflict here.
Anyone else on that motion? Seeing none, roll call. Councilmember Coley,
Yes.
Councilmember Eason,
Yes.
Councilmember Hilbert,
No.
no. Councilmember Montague III,
Abstain.
abstain. Councilmember Ross recused himself. Councilmember Summers Johnson
Yes.
and Council President Wu.
Yeah.
So that's 4 yeas, 1 no, 1 abstain, and 1 recused. The motion passed. 35/2025, an ordinance of the city of Orange Township authorizing the execution of a contract of sale with B&O Urban Renewal LLC for the sale of city-owned property located at 22 Webster Place and identified on the city tax block as block 3203, lot 12. Is there a motion to adopt on first?
Motion.
Second, Hilbert.
Motion by Councilmember Montague the third, second by Councilmember Hilbert on the motion. Seeing none, roll call. Councilmember Coley.
Yes.
Councilmember Eason.
Yes.
Councilmember Hilbert.
Yes.
Councilmember Montague the third.
Yes.
Councilmember Ross.
Yes.
Councilmember Summers Johnson.
Yes.
And Council President, motion passed. 36-2025, an ordinance of the City of Orange Township authorizing execution of a contract of sale with TWA or Real Property Development Group for the sale of city-owned property located at 122 Hickory Street and 144 Parrow Street. Well, I guess I said it right.
Parrow.
And identify.
Parrow Street. Pyro. You made it sound like. Pyro.
And identified on the city tax map as block 3301, lot 30 and 31. Motion to adopt on first.
Motion to adopt.
Second, Montague.
Motion to adopt on first by Councilmember Easton, second by Councilmember Montague the third. On the motion, seeing none, roll call. Councilmember Coley.
Yes.
Councilmember Easton.
Yes.
Councilmember Hilbert.
Yes.
Councilmember Montague the third.
Yes.
Councilmember Ross.
Yes.
Councilmember Summers Johnson.
Yes.
And Council President. Motion passed. The final reading for the above ordinance will be on July 1st, 2025, which is also inauguration day. Consent agenda. All items listed with an asterisk are considered to be routine by the city council and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless the council member so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the general order of business and considered in its normal sequence of the agenda. Council members, are there any items you wish to remove?
Council President,
Councilman
281, 282, and 283.
Any others? No?
No.
Okay, so the consent. The consent agenda.
Rated
279, 280, 284, 285, 286. There a motion to adopt the consent agenda.
Motion to adopt
Second,
consent agenda. Motion to adopt consent agenda, Summers Johnson.
Councilmember Summers Johnson, second by Councilmember Montague.
Yes.
On the motion, seeing none, roll call. Councilmember Coley.
Yes.
Councilmember Eason.
Yes.
What are
Councilmember
we doing?
Octavia Hilbert. Councilmember Montague the third.
yes.
Councilmember Ross.
Yes.
Councilmember Summers Johnson.
Yes.
Council President Ruben. Motion passed. 281-2025, a resolution approving and authorizing execution of a community benefit agreement with Orange Remax Properties Urban Renewal LLC for the redevelopment of the property located at 85 Main Street and identified on the official tax map of the City of Orange Township, block 1801, lot 23. Is there a motion? Move.
Second, Eason.
Motion by Councilmember Rubin, second by Councilmember Eason. On that motion, seeing none, roll call. Councilmember Cole. Motion, I'm sorry. For the roll.
On the motion for 281, I have to recuse myself because of conflict. Sorry.
Anyone else on the motion?
On the motion.
Councilman Montague.
Now, is this particular agreement, are we getting community benefit of $4,000 per apartment?
Yes, we are.
That's not what it says.
It doesn't say that.
This is the one that's down.
It says, it doesn't.
Abbreviated.
Yeah.
It's abbreviated. I'm sorry. It's 3,500. However, it is paid up front.
Why isn't it 4,000?
The amount was negotiated prior to the 4,000 implemented number.
Anyone else on the motion?
Yes.
Seeing none, roll call. Councilmember Coley,
Yes.
Councilmember Eason,
Yes.
Councilmember Hilbert,
Yes.
Councilmember Montague the third,
Abstained.
abstain. Councilmember Ross,
Recuse.
recuse. Councilmember Summers Johnson,
Yes.
and Council President Wooten.
Yes.
So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 yeas, 1 abstain, and 1 accused, or recused. So the motion passed. 282-2025, a resolution designating Orange Remax Property Urban Renewal LLC as the redeveloper for the property located at 85 Main Street, identified on the official tax map of the city of Orange Township, block 1801, lot 23, and authorizing the execution of redevelopment agreement with Orange Remax Property Urban Renewal LLC for the redevelopment of this property. Is there a motion?
Motion, Montague.
Second, Eason.
Motion by Councilmember Montague the third, second by Councilmember Eason. On that motion,
On the motion, again, I have to recuse myself on this for personal and business conflicts.
anyone else on the motion? Seeing none, roll call. Councilmember Coley,
Yes.
Councilmember Eason,
Yes.
Councilmember Hilbert,
Yes.
Councilmember Montague the third,
Yes.
Councilmember Ross is abstaining,
Recuse.
or recusing. Councilmember Summers Johnson,
Yes.
Council President Wooten.
Yes.
That's six, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4. It passed. 283-2025, a resolution honoring African American History Month and recognizing the contribution. Recognizing the contributions of African Americans to the advancement of freedom and justice in the United States and the city of Orange Township, sponsored by Council President Wooten and the Orange Municipal Council. Is there a motion? Wooten. Second.
Second Coley.
Moved by Councilmember Wooten, second by Councilmember Coley on the motion.
On the motion, maybe I'm missing something here, Council President, but I thought that African American History Month was February.
Music.
It's what?
It's supposed to be African American history. It's music. I'm sorry. Maybe it's African American
doesn't
History Music Month.
Okay.
Okay, that explains it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw you looking at me crazy. You ain't.
Music History Month and recognizing the contributions of African Americans to the advancement of freedom and justice in the United States and the city of Orange Township, sponsored by Council President Wooten and the Orange Municipal Council. So, secondly, is there a motion? Okay, second.
Montague.
On that motion, seeing none, roll call. Councilmember Coley,
Yes.
Councilmember Eason,
Yes.
Councilmember Hilbert,
Yes.
Councilmember Montague the third,
Yes.
Councilmember Ross.
Yes.
Councilmember Sims Johnson.
Yes.
Council President Wooten.
Yes.
Is there
Motion to close? Oh, I'm sorry.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn, Summers Johnson. Motion to adjourn, Summers Johnson.
Council Johnson.
Second Coley.
Second, Councilmember Coley, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Yeah, but I don't like this.
Meeting is adjourned at 9:06 p.m.
Okay, Uncle.